My name is Mahadeo Sukhai. I am currently the head of the Variant Interpretation Group within the Genome Diagnostics Division of the Laboratory Medicine program at the University Health Network. I'm a cancer geneticist by training, and I currently do work in cancer genomics and cancer diagnostics, I think would be the best way to put it. From the time that I declared my intention to be a geneticist to the time that I completed my second postdoc at one point or another, and that was a total of 17 years, there was always somebody somewhere, who would actually say, well, you shouldn't be doing this. You've got individuals who will say to you, well, I never heard of a blind geneticist before, or there will be active discouragement in the form of, I don't really know how to accommodate you. We can't figure this out because you're supposed to be able to do X, Y, and Z. You physically can't do it because you can't see, so how are you supposed to be able to do this? 2 weeks into the start of my master's program, I actually had a course coordinator for a course that I ended up teaching saying to me on the phone, in a phone interview, how can you see to teach? And so I got that from the time that I was going into post-secondary to the time that I was applying to graduate school. Through graduate school, both the master's and the PhD, it didn't actually matter how successful I was. It didn't matter what my publication record was, what my scholarships were like, what my record of achievements were. Somebody somewhere would always say, well, how can you actually do this? And at the end of the day, the only thing that would actually silence that is to just do it. It's important to have a support network. It's good to have mentors. They don't have to have disabilities, but they do have to be people that you feel comfortable confiding in and being close to. And those mentors can be in your field. They don't have to be in your field. You will be able to get different things out of each kind of mentorship relationship depending on what it is you want and how you and the mentor kind of interact with each other. But it's important, in addition to the mentorship, to make sure that you've got a bit of a peer support group or a peer support network alongside you. There are going to be other students with disabilities who will be going through post-secondary education at your institution. In some ways, your experiences are unique. In many ways, your experiences are the experiences of a lot of other people. Of course, there are things that we have made mistakes about, and of course, there's things in going back we would like to do differently. For example, I would have liked to, as an undergraduate student, been a little bit more perhaps engaged and involved in campus life. I wasn't as an undergrad, and I regret that. I think I missed out on something that would have been quite beneficial to me. These days, a lot of post-secondary institutions, colleges and universities, they have first-year learning communities. They have beyond the classroom learning. They have other things that you can do. And I mean, my advice is don't just be an academic. Don't just go after the 99% or the whatever it is you're striving for. I understand from a disability perspective that disability management is time-consuming. I live it every day. I know it. But at the same time, if it's just disability management, life outside of post-secondary, and trying to figure out how to get what I need in order to get through my undergrad or my college diploma or what have you, then there's all sorts of extra bits of learning that you're actually missing out on in the context of campus life. And that's actually a bit of a problem because the university environment especially, I can't speak to the college environment because I never went to a community college, but a university environment especially today, if you look at it, there's actually layers and layers and layers of learning. And so there's the technical learning that you get when you go through the program, when you go through your courses, when you go through your graduate studies at a master's or PhD level. It's the learning about that which you've chosen to study. The other parts to that actually have a lot to do with all those transferable and soft skills that we hear everyone talk about. That have to do with how well you communicate your knowledge, how well you teach people, how well you lead people, how well you mentor people, how well you work within a group, what your leadership style is like, what your management style is like, because those are two different things. What your professionalism is like, what your organizational skills are like, your project management skills are like, your time management skills are like, all of these sorts of things. You learn them subliminally and very subconsciously while you're going through post-secondary education. You practice them in class, you practice them through your program, but you also can engage in broadening your knowledge base through involvement within the campus community. And you know, that's the one thing, I figured that out when I was doing my PhD. I did not figure it out when I was doing my undergrad, and I did not figure it out when I was doing my master's. And in both of those scenarios, I actually regret that. You know, a lot of people are going to tell you no. A lot of people are going to tell you, you can't do this. It's not possible. It's not practical. We don't know how. You know, there's rules, there's regulations, there's whatever. If it's a dream that you are chasing and it's something that you are passionate about and it's something that you've held on to for a while, and you know deep down that you can make this thing real, that you can make this thing actually happen, and you understand yourself enough to know that you can do that even in the context of what the requirements of the program or the requirements of the discipline are, don't take no for an answer. There's going to be a lot of people who say it, and it's going to cause a lot of stress when they do. But it's your dream, and it's also your life, and you shouldn't divert yourself from your goals unless you have a very good reason for doing that.